Good morning. For this morning's devotional, I'm going to be reading from the gospel selection for this week. It's John chapter 6. It's when Jesus is sharing this miraculous sign of feeding 5,000. Jesus looked up and saw the large crowd coming toward him. He asked Philip, "Where will we buy food to feed these people?" Jesus said this to test him, for he already knew what he was going to do. Philip replied, "More than half a year's salary worth of food wouldn't be enough for each person to have a little bit." One of the disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said, "A youth here has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good is that for a crowd like this?" Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." And there was plenty of grass there. And they sat down, about 5,000 of them. Then Jesus took the bread. When he had given thanks, he distributed it to those who were sitting there. He did the same thing with the fish, each getting as much as they wanted. When they had plenty to eat, he said to his disciples, "Gather up the leftover pieces so that nothing will be wasted." So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of 5 barley loaves that had been left over by those who had eaten. When the people saw that he had done a miraculous sign, they said, "This is truly the prophet who is coming into the world." Jesus understood that they were about to come and force him to be their king. So he took refuge again, alone on a mountain. Sometimes we look at this and go, Jesus had him in the palm of his hand. Why did he turn and leave to go off alone to the mountain? Why didn't he enjoy this moment where so many were recognizing him for being the Son of God, to being the Messiah? Someone once said that there's such a thing as cupboard love. If our cupboard is full, we will love God and worship God. But when our cupboard is bare, that is when we tend to turn away from God because we feel like God has not done anything for us lately. That's the sense that Jesus had of these people. Jesus had just done a great thing. He had healed some people right before this, and then he fed them. Their cupboard was full, and therefore they loved Jesus for who he was by what he did. But Jesus saw their heart and saw their intention. You'll see later, again, the people were following Jesus by boat and followed him because they wanted more. They wanted more of what Jesus could do for them. But so it is with us. We're kind of like that. We follow God and worship God when things are going our way. But the first time we start hearing about maybe a sacrifice or maybe following through with some of the wishes that we need to do, that it comes with us when there's a storm. We tend to turn. When there's a challenge that we're giving more of ourselves and effort to follow. When there's things that Jesus talks about taking up our cross, that's maybe when it's hard to follow. Jesus wants all of us. Jesus wants our heart. Jesus wants our lives. Are we able to give it even when our cupboard is bare? May we find the faith to have in Jesus in the good times and especially in the bad times. I hope your day goes well. Amen.